gentlemen, let's go racing here at Knoxville.
Only the best go 3 abreast.
It is show time at Williams Grove Speedway.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, here at Eldora Speedway, it's showtime!
You got 'em for a rest. Often imitated, never duplicated. The greatest show on dirt, the world of outlaws.
It's time to sit back, relax, and enjoy because, ladies and gentlemen, it's showtime!
Set to do battle for 30 laps. The green flag is waving.
Hello again. It is Winged Nation presented by Hercules Tires. Ride on our strength. Talking sprint car racing, our favorite time of the week, and we are so glad that you have joined us. Erin, Evernham, and Steve Post, how are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
Oh, are you kidding me? I'm fantastic. I mean, I am really, really good. I, recently discovered flow racing. No, I didn't discover flow racing. Flow racing is like Magellan. I didn't discover it. I recently found flow racing. Are you kidding me? I mean, I sat there, I'm watching 305s from Kansas. I'm watching IRA from Wisconsin. I'm watching the All-Stars. I'm watching, oh my gosh, I watched a little bit of Port, a little bit of Lincoln. Yeah. I mean, it's crazy.
Yeah, they cover a lot.
They do.
Yeah.
Watch a little Dirt Vision on Friday night from Williams Grove. I mean, they really do. It's cool stuff. So I am jacked up and may actually get to some races this weekend. Oh yes, indeed. Or a race anyhow. So it is cool. Hey, what was really, really neat, Sunday night was the return of Huset's. Erin, I am telling you, a lot of energy, a lot of excitement, and just a really good positive vibes at the racetrack.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, like I've told you a million times, one of my favorite racetracks, and to see the pictures of the crowd, and I know crowds are contriversial right now in our society, but to see that place packed was so cool. The energy that place has when you're there it's second to none. It's like it almost gives you a Bristol feel because the grandstands are down so you're kind of in this little bowl and there's people all around. So I'm just thrilled to see it open back up, and I'm so thankful for what Todd has done there. Yeah,
listening to the Flow broadcast, listening to the Flow broadcast, Blake Anderson and everyone, they were talking about it, and one of the quotes that is attributed to Terry McCarl is, "Knoxville will make you famous. Houston's will make you a racer."
Yeah.
And I'll be honest with you, because I probably saw some races at Houston's, but that was 3 or 4 years ago before the whole pay-per-view explosion. My God, I'm watching hot laps and the heat races,
so fun.
And it's like, holy to me, it reminds me of a California bull ring. Is what it reminds me of. Just the way you're up and you're down. And somebody, TK, and for the final spot in this heat race, TK was 10 car lengths behind in turn number 3 on the top and just cut it across the bottom and took the final transfer spot.
Yeah, it has all the ingredients for a perfect racetrack. It's wide, it's banked, it's short distance, it's got a bottom and a top. It just provides for awesome racing. I think I told this story yesterday when we might have recorded a show.
Yes.
But the first time Ray went there with me, we qualified. It was driving the 59 car, Tom Leidig's car at the time. Yeah. And I went out and just ripped a lap for qualifying. And I pulled in, and he looked at me, and he was like looking at me really strange. And I was like, "What? Did I mess up my lap?" Like, I'm coming from Ray. I was expecting some critique. And he was like, Did you just run that wide open? I'm like, well, yeah, that's how you have to run this place in qualifying. It's heavy. You just go for it. And he was like, I couldn't do it. And I'm not sure if you've ever seen Ray race, but hitting the gas is never the problem.
He ain't scared of the throttle.
Yeah.
It's the other problem we need to deal with.
Exactly. So for him to say that, I mean, I always remember that because he was looking at me like, "You're nuts," and I'm thinking, "Oh God, if he thinks I'm nuts."
I think the thing that we look at with this, Cory Eliason won the race. He's going to join us on the program. Danny Dietrich going to join us as well. I think Huset's, to me, of course, the family that ran it for years and years, I've lost track of their name. But then Chuck Brannon bought it a lot. We covered a lot of that, and it was uncertain, unstable, lots of challenges. You never quite knew what was happening. I think the other thing that's so neat is that this is a wild, fantastic, spectacular racetrack now in good hands.
Yeah,
with
consistent,
steady, rock solid hands.
Yep.
And I just think it's great. And I think that, to me, when we look at it, that's going to be, when we look at 2020, this weird, strange year that we had, we're going to put that in our top 5 highlight stories is that Huset's is revived.
Yep.
And World of Outlaws are going there Labor Day weekend. Oh, you kidding me?
Well, and it's not just the fans. You read any driver's comments about the track. It's industry-wide. People
I love
thrilled.
Tanner Thorson. Tanner Thorson put on there, hey, USAC, can we get a national midget race there? You know, I mean, it is. It's a great, great racetrack. That is for sure. Let's take a look at our Classic Ink screen printing and embroidery hot topics. As has been the case for the last 2 months, 3 months, the hot topic is Kyle Larson. Although he did show that he's human at Huset's. But Thursday night, the Plymouth Dirt Track in Sheboygan picked up the win. Friday night at 34 Raceway in Iowa, and then Saturday night back at Knoxville picked up the win. All three of those with the Ollie's Bargain Outlet All-Star Circuit of Champions. And then at Huset's, he bounced off the wall. They had to change a tire. He came back out, and then he really got into the fence. And it was a nasty tumble.
Yeah, I was
glad
he was
glad
okay.
to see him climb out of that race car. That is a 2-year-old chassis that he had won all of that money and stuff with. They had a new one they're working on building. So, I don't care what anyone says. You might be Kyle Larson. You might be Paul Silva. You still don't want to give away that chassis 2 weeks before the big race at Knoxville. But he is Kyle Larson, and he is Paul Silva. So, so we'll see what happens. So really, really cool stuff. As we mentioned, Cory Eliason picked up the win Sunday night. We'll talk to Cory. Pennsylvania, the other hot topic, Danny Dietrich. Picked up the win at Williams Grove, his 25th career win at Williams Grove, starting to climb that ladder. And Double D has been around now for a few years, and he's starting to. He certainly is the talk of Pennsylvania just because of his charismatic personality and his Twitter savvy.
Exactly.
Exactly. Some people have other words for charismatic with Danny, but he also, especially the last year and a half or 2 years, has really backed it up on the racetrack. And he continues. He has really become involved into a good race. I think he's always been a good I think he's been a good driver. I think he's becoming a really good racer now.
Yep.
And really knows what to do, when to mash the button, and he's becoming really good. Picked up the win Saturday at Lincoln, and then Sunday at Trailways, picked up the win there as well. We're going to talk to Danny. And the other big winners, rain, World of Outlaws, IRA got rained out one night, and Port Royal. Danny was funny on Twitter. He was deciding whether to go to Lincoln or Port Royal, and he chose Lincoln. It looks like he chose the right way. Although they did get all the prelims in for the Living Legends race, and so he won't be a part of that big one up at Port Royal, but he'll take his trophy from Lincoln, I'm sure, and be perfectly content with it. So there you have it, the Classic Ink screen printing and embroidery hot topics. All right, you can find out why drivers like Danny Dietrich and Sheldon Hodenshield, Donnie Schatz, David Stremme and Ashley with Lethal Chassis, Tony Stewart, Brian Brown, and a whole more. They are Classic Ink folks, and you can be too. You can check them out at www.classicink.com. Erin, they offer it all there at Classic Ink.
They sure do. They offer full custom driver apparel and crew wear options, full service embroidery department specializing in headwear and outerwear. They have an experienced design team and a dedicated sales department.
Good stuff, that is for sure. www.classicinkusa.com. We talked about Kyle Larson and his run through the All-Stars at this point, run through Pennsylvania prior to that, run through the World of Outlaws prior to that. So whoever's next, step up. Let's go. Race number 7, the historical 7th win. It's never been done with the All-Stars, was at Knoxville Raceway. Gio Selzy piloting that nearing number 18 car, and Kyle Larson going at it, the Ollie's Bargain Outlet All-Star Circuit of Champions. Blake Anderson and Tony Bachhoven. I had a brain fade there. Blake Anderson and Tony Bachhoven with the call. It's our Dryden Diesel all-death-defying move of the week.
And now for the Dryden death-defying move of the week, where one driver simply amazes us with their on-track moves.
Goes high and he'll dart down through the middle in turn number 2 and down the backstretch. Larson roping in Gio Selzy.
Your race is for the lead. You've got a new leader in turn 4. Kyle Larson takes the lead from Gio Selzy.
That death-defying move was brought to you by Dryden Diesel All Death, the official death of the World of Outlaws and wheelmen everywhere. Visit Dryden.com for more information.
Pride.
Passion.
Performance.
We are
Team Dryden.
Power isn't born,
It's built over time. For over 65 years, Hercules Tires has been providing the muscle to move more drivers, whatever the vehicle, whatever the terrain, and we back it with a powerful protection plan. So wherever the road or the trail takes you, we have the selection, value, and strength to get you there. Hercules Tires. Ride on our strength.
Welcome back. It is Wing Nation, presented by Hercules Tires. Let's go right to the Dry Dean Hotline. Joining us from the great state of Pennsylvania is Danny Dietrich. Hello, Danny. Welcome back to Wing Nation.
Hey, how are you guys doing today?
We are doing well, and it looks like you are doing well. Congratulations. You packed the broom in the old Gary Kaufman trailer, and you swept the weekend with 3 big ones. That's gotta be a fun weekend, Danny.
Yeah, it really was. We ran into some trouble that on Saturday afternoon that made us made a decision for us to go to Lincoln on Saturday, and we made the most of it, able to get a win and get a feature in for the night, and was able then to go capitalize on Sunday trailways too after winning to Grove on Friday.
Danny, we talked to you earlier in the season, and you had been out running with the All-Stars, trying to catch shows in the Midwest where people were racing at the time. And you talked about some of the struggles, but how much you were learning. Obviously, you've learned something, and all that experience, sure, is paying off. This past weekend, you were unbeatable.
Yeah, we always learn a lot when we can go new places or get out of the area and kind of break old habits. And it's fun. You get out with different atmosphere, different group of guys, and things don't get stale when you're on the road. It gets pretty challenging, when you go to the racetrack 11 days in a row in 100-degree weather. But what you can learn from it, if you can stay ahead of the game, is pretty incredible.
Danny, I'm trying to sort out because you go and you do all of that stuff in the Midwest, then you come back home, and then that Larson kid comes through and just ruins everything for everybody. Okay, I mean, how do you feel about your program? Where are you at now? It's so tough to read when nobody is racing for wins. Everyone seemed to be racing for second spots with Larson around. It seemed like. How are you? How is your program? How do you feel like you guys are at this point in the year?
I going back to Larson, I think we're probably the last car that was able to pass him and go on to win a race.
True.
So, there's not many people that have passed that car and went on to win. So, I think we got a really good program. We had some mechanical issues and some bad luck and misfortune, that really plagued our month of July once we got halfway through Speed Week. But otherwise, we've had good speed. We just need to get all our ducks in a row, and some of it's been self-inflicted wounds, and some of it has been bad luck. And you don't see that too often from us. Jake does a really good job with maintenance and stuff, but we had some electrical issues, and then we had a little bit of motor issues and burned a couple motors up that weren't engine builder problems. Probably more so my fault than anything, but. Just trying to keep our heads up and above water and keep plugging away. Cause, there's a lot of racing left to do yet this year.
Danny, you said after your win at Trailways that this past weekend you had won with 2 different cars and 2 different motors. That has to give you confidence in your team that it's not just one package. You've got it going on with both cars.
Yeah, we got a couple of different cars that are really fast. We got another one getting built, just like one of the ones we've been running, and we were struggling with one car a little bit. It was definitely a little different on the scales, and I think there's a reason why at the beginning parts of Speed Week we were pretty good, and that car was really good at Sealands Grove, but we've been struggling with we struggled with that a little bit, along with some other stuff at Williams Grove and Port Royal, and we decided we were going to tear that car apart and put what I would call Old Faithful back together. We had at the beginning of the year, ran down in Oklahoma and Texas, and it came out, really good, and Friday was real fast.
Danny, one thing I never understand about this, okay? These chassis builders, and they build identical cars except for one seems to do better than the other, and driver feel and everything like that. You say one didn't seem to match up on the scales and all. How big of a variation are we talking about? How tough is that edge to be on with these things? And I'm trying to figure out how that happens or why that happens sometimes.
Yeah, I don't know. Just maybe sometimes the memory that metal has, or the way they're welded up, I don't know. It just there's you talk to chassis builders, they don't really know either. They can't figure out why one's better than the other. They come off the same jigs with the same guy welding them, and that we had a frame that was white that was really, really fast at Sealands Grove and had some really good runs, and but it just didn't seem to like Williams Grove as much. So we're getting some work done to it, to hopefully be able to put it back together and be just as strong. But I mean, all the cars are really good. You just gotta, with Maxon, you just gotta figure out which ones are the best when you're at the level that we're at. I'm sure Kyle, we were talking about Kyle, he crashed the car this past weekend, but I'm sure he'll be getting fixed some way or another just because it's been so good to him. I know it's been fixed a couple times already. So, sometimes you find a sweet spot, or you get a home run in a car, and it just tends to be the car you like the most, have the most confidence in.
Absolutely, I can remember that from my racing days. There was one car that was my favorite. We had to clip it a few times, but it was my favorite. Danny, you had some good runs with your brother this weekend. What is that like to run Lincoln 1 and 2 with him, and just to be able to race with him like that?
It's a lot of fun, coming back to work here on Monday, and just we've only done that a handful of times, and maybe not even a handful of times, but it's pretty neat. I don't know if I'd have been able to beat him if he wouldn't have got into the fence at Lincoln a little bit, but I like to think I keep the pressure on a little bit, so he's found some speed here this past weekend, and and on Thursday, and hopefully he can keep digging and get a win here pretty soon too.
Awesome. Bill from Biglersville. Yeah, the Billy Dietrich experience, that is for sure. Hey, do you two, I know you two work together and everything, so there's obviously get along, but was there ever a time, or did you ever have a moment where, and we love your mom on Twitter, she's one of our favorite followers on Twitter, has there ever been times between you two where mom had to jump in and kind of be a referee with you guys?
I don't think so. We've always had, we've always been competitive, but, I'd say the last 10 years have been really good. We've all gotten a little older, and all appreciate, each other and the help we can give each other. And it's pretty neat, to be able to go to the racetrack and enjoy that and come back to work here on Monday, and talk about it.
For sure.
That's cool. The family thing's awesome. Danny, did I read that you guys are heading out to Knoxville?
Yes, we are planning on going out to Knoxville next weekend. We'll leave here on Wednesday morning or Tuesday night, something like that, and head out there and, give it our best shot at the one and only.
The one and only. Going to be a weird time out there. That is for sure. I don't even know what to expect. I want to step back. Okay, we're talking about Central Pennsylvania, the racing area there. We all know Williams Grove. We all know Port. We all know Lincoln. We all know Sealands Grove. But you ran at Trailways, which is that mysterious to those of us outside of the area Friday night 358 track that runs 410s once a year. How do you describe Trailways as far as not only a racetrack maybe, but just the facility, the place it fits into Pennsylvania sprint car racing? How do you describe that to someone like myself, actually?
Yeah, well, I'd say if you were to never been at Trailways, the best way to describe it is, you ever seen the movie Field of Dreams? If you build it, they will come.
Yeah.
That'd be Trailways. It's literally in the middle of a cornfield, and my gosh, if you didn't know it was there, I don't think you'd ever find it, but it's, I call it the farm. It's pretty cool. You go there. I grew up racing there. It's just a small track bull ring with real tight corners. And, it's kind of a pretty neat facility, if you ask me, just kind of the way that it's built on the land. It really does remind you of if there was a sprint car track of a Field of Dreams sprint car track, that's what it would be.
Danny, I forget who ran second to you, but I think you said that he had a 360. And is it that small of a track, or is it the surface that provides, a 360 to run that well?
A little bit of both. It's a third mile, really tight corners. So you really got to slow down the corners, and the straightaways are not real long. Obviously, being a third mile, so the track was pretty. I wouldn't say dry. I wouldn't say wet, but it was kind of it's kind of hard to get a hold of. Kind of reminds me of a Hopstock, but just you can fit the track inside a Hopstock. So, and it doesn't carry as much speed. So, but as far as long corners and they got some mulch in the clay. So, it just gets really hard to get a hold of the racetrack. But, so the 360 kind of comes back later. They bring some 358s over there and they run pretty good. So, it's kind of nice to not have to go there with a big hit 410 and know that, you have to have your hardest hit motor in to have a chance at winning.
Neat stuff, really is. Well, Danny, as always, we appreciate the time. We wish you the best throughout the balance of the season. I'm fairly confident we'll talk to you again down the road. But congratulations on the big sweep weekend. And again, thanks for joining us here on Wing Nation.
Yep, thanks for having me, guys.
There we go. Danny Dietrich joining us here on the program. Neat stuff. You know, he was talking about, Erin, he was talking about the chassis, back to the chassis and the welds. And we were talking about it, and I asked that. We were standing, I forget where we're standing, Greg Hodden and I don't think I talked to him at PRI, but we're standing somewhere at some place away from a racetrack. And I said, how does that happen? Why do you have one chassis that's better than the other? And he said, yeah, and he talked a little bit about the metal and the flexing of the metal. He says the guy welding it could be the same thing. But did he go out the night before and have a few drinks? Or is he having problems at home? Or is things good at home? Or is this or that? And I'm like, you're never thinking about that, but there is the human element of this thing. And as good as Maxim is with Danny and everybody else with their chassis, Jack and Bonnie, they build great, J&J, they build great chassis, but there is still that little human element that sometimes might be the characteristic that makes a difference.
Or wherever they're getting the steel tubing from, or what the material is made of, or like he mentioned, Danny Dietrich, like the memory of the metal. Like how
that's
it's twisted and turned. But it's definitely true. I mean, my racing career was short, but there were a few cars that were my favorite, and I don't think they were any different than the other ones we had, but for some reason, I don't know if it was the setup, the metal, the whatever, or the confidence that you start to get in the car. Yeah. But it just becomes your favorite.
Confidence in a race car is a fascinating element of this, too. You're comfortable in a race car, you're confident.
Yeah.
And I had this conversation, and I know we're a sprint car program, but I talked to Todd Gordon, who is crew chief up at Penske Racing.
Yep.
They do everything in their power to not have any identification on their cars. And that's cars that Brad runs, cars that Ryan Blaney runs, cars that Joey Logano runs, or cars that go over the Wood Brothers. They send them back, and they come back with no identification. And I asked them, why do you guys do that? And we don't want a driver to get married to a car because you can't guarantee that car's going to be around.
Yeah.
And I just thought that was fascinating to hear that. I mean, Rusty Wallace is our commentator here, and he had Midnight and Blacker and all of these cars.
Yep.
I mean, he would take these cars from a road course to Pocono to Bristol.
Oh, yeah. Ray and Jeff always talk about
Ray and Jeff
certain cars that they love.
And so it's the same thing with sprint cars, and it's just fascinating to me about it. And Penske, he said, and Joey doesn't know, they never ask what's the history of this car because they don't even know what the history of this car is. This is the car we have today. And, of course, Penske's able to design them as close as anybody, But fascinating stuff. It really is. Love when we get a chance to talk. Danny, we talked about Danny a lot with the social media, and we know right now he's in a little bit of a dust-up with Raymer and all of this other stuff and whatever's going on there. But I love also because he's a very smart kid.
Yeah.
He's really, really smart, and he's a student of the sport. So it's great to pick his brain on those type of questions. He's one of those guys that on the surface you're like, well, he just kind of come in and fat, dumb, and happy and goes racing. He's a smart guy. He really is.
And
works in
so
the industry too. Yeah.
Open and willing to talk with us about
he really is. So good
things.
Stuff. Absolutely. Speaking of good stuff, well, I'll tell you what, we have Hepner Racing Products. They have the good stuff as well. All right, let me turn my page here so I get to the right script. All right. HRP Wings, the original reset wing manufacturer. They use wind tunnel and track performance testing to outpace the industry in design, innovation, and functionality. Not only in sprint cars, but lightning sprints, micros, and junior sprints shipped across the world, and they can be economically ground shipped right to your door.
So check out their website. It's easy to shop the entire line of Hepner Racing products. HRPRacing.com. From desktop or right on your phone. First-time online orders use promo code MRN at checkout for 10% off your first order.
Now, my buddy Jeff Wessel up there at HRP. Love Jeff Wessel.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my God. He's the best. He's the best, okay? I just saw on his Facebook. He runs a Legends car up there.
Oh, yeah.
Okay? They're supposed to race tonight. Except for, I'm assuming Jeff might have lost, misplaced, or broken his glasses.
Oh, boy.
Because the optometrist could only get him late this afternoon, and he had to bow out of tonight's race because, well, they didn't want him racing without glasses.
I mean, Kyle Larson ran with only one contact.
Exactly, yeah. So my buddy Jeff Wessel, I hope you get those glasses fixed. I think he said he's going to run Beaver Dam this weekend where they have a big Legends race.
That's
so
a fast track for a Legends car.
Hey, that's Jeff Wessel there. That's yeah. But that's what we talk about with HRP. They're just racers. They're just out there racing and having a good time. Let's step away. Speaking of racer, Cory Eliason, he joins us next.
Power isn't born. It's built over time. For over 65 years, Hercules Tires has been providing the muscle to move more drivers. Whatever the vehicle, whatever the terrain, And we back it with a powerful protection plan. So wherever the road or the trail takes you, we have the selection, value, and strength to get you there. Hercules Tires. Ride on our strength.
Hey Ashley, what are you up to?
Oh, I just stopped by to grab some sage fruit apples. Now I just have to decide which ones.
You can never go wrong with a Honeycrisp. They're light, crisp, and full of perfectly balanced flavor.
Oh, hey!
You could always go with one of their classics, the Gala or Fuji. They're both sweet and juicy.
Grown in the heart of Eastern Washington, Sage Fruit Company works hard on the farm and with their retail partners to provide high-quality apples and pears to consumers all year long.
Well, I couldn't decide which ones. Thanks for the help, guys.
I'll race you to checkout.
It is Wing Nation, presented by Hercules Tires. Ride on our strength. We are going right back to the Dryden Hotline, fresh off from a trip at Huset's Speedway to Victory Lane and the reopening up there. Cory Eliason joins us. Hello, Cory. Welcome back to Wing Nation.
Hey, thanks, guys.
All right, Cory. Now, I know you got the win, so any track you race at and win at is always fun, but how much fun is racing at Houston Speedway and winning there as well? I mean, man, that is a wild racetrack. That had to be a ball on Sunday night.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, especially with kind of, how the year's been going with all the lockdowns and stuff. It was cool. It was definitely, make your hair stand up when you hear, I guess they had said they had 9,000 or 10,000 fans there. And I think when they threw the green flag for the first heat race of sprint cars, you could hear the fans cheer over the start of the race. So it was just cool because it was electrifying. The fans were in it, and it brings the atmosphere alive. So you're racing. It's kind of like doing anything. When you do it in front of nobody, it's not as fun as when you do it in front of a bunch of people.
That just gave me chills hearing that the fans were that excited for hot laps. That is awesome. Cory, talk about the race. I mean, the track, you're never really out of traffic once it gets going. You had some good battles with Madsen and Selzy. Talk about the race itself.
It was definitely exciting. We kind of we started, Kerry didn't really get squared up to where he could get to the top soon enough. And I was able to get around him and the yellow come out. And I thought that was basically going to be the end of the race because surely you show the nose once, he's not going to let it be open again. And he didn't, but we got in lap traffic and he got tight, kind of got over the curb. I was able to slip by him and he ended up coming back by me on the bottom at some stage. And it just happened to work out, in lap traffic that he went in on the bottom and he was good on the bottom, but we went good around the top and kind of got to the lead. And then it was just patience and trying not to get too close or, get stuck behind the wrong lap cars. You're trying to make your way through it. It's a small place. So it definitely reminded me more of California style racing as far as how tight it was and how quick you're in lap traffic. But overall, it was exciting.
Hey, you talked about running the top well. Talk about that entry into turn one. It looks like you almost bounce off the wall to make it work. That had to be pretty exciting every lap.
Yeah, definitely. It was, I kind of picked a spot that it seemed that maybe a couple other people were hitting too. It was kind of packed in and worn in right there. So it was easy to shoot for, and then that one started getting worn down. And so you just kind of have to keep moving further into the corner where you decide you want to hit it, because at some stage you're going to hit it if you want to be fast. So I just try to follow that same spot and just keep hitting it every time. And so far, we ended up not usually when that happens. It's usually either the fence or the checker flag comes. So I'm glad it wasn't the fence this time.
No doubt. I mean, that's crazy. That really is. Just amazing racing. It really is. That was wild down there in turn one. That's what actually tripped up what got Kyle Larson has just got in there. He stepped over it. So Cory Eliason joining us here on the program, talking to us about the race up at Houston Speedway. Cory, this season, you alluded to it a little bit from the fans' perspective, but from the race car driver perspective, we're not racing. We are racing. We don't know where we're going. Traditional dates are gone. Traditional races are gone. This one's thrown in here. What's that been like as a race car driver? And really speaking for the team, what's that been like for you guys as you piece together this season?
It's definitely been trying, to say the least. We had it's we're all for, we want to race. It doesn't matter where we go. We just want to race. And then it comes down to, we were at Plymouth on Friday, and then it's a 6.5 hour tow from there to Burlington, run Burlington. It's 2 hours to Knoxville. and then you go Knoxville to Houston, which is 5.5, and then back from Houston back to Knoxville. So we were Sunday. It's been, we're like, man, we don't even want to go. We just want to take a break because you travel so much. You're up late, up early, but that's kind of part of the job. It's the path we chose, and I'd say for the most part, it's hard to figure out where we're going or what we're doing. They try to allow 2 weeks to let us know kind of which direction we're going to be headed, but at the same time, I think we had a weekend planned out, and we're a week away, and we had to cancel it move it because of the lockdown. So it definitely makes logistics a lot harder this year. You definitely can't plan. It's kind of just get in and go, and hopefully you make it, and hopefully you get a race.
Wow. That certainly sounds challenging, but it's got to be easier when you're second in points and you ran top 5 everywhere you went this past weekend. Cory, talk about your season as a team. I mean, you guys have really seemed to gel, and you're strong right now. You capped it off with a win at Houston's, but talk about how you feel about your team this season.
We're still just as good. We kind of struggled we were good in the beginning, and then we had that break and came back, and we kind of had a bit of, miscommunication or trying to figure out something with the race car. We were having a bit of problems that we were dealing with, and it took us a little bit to figure it out. But the past, we had the Thunder Through the Plains where we were pretty fast every night there. It seems like we were hit and miss a lot, but I think now we're definitely getting more consistent again, and we're on to what we need to be. And it's good that it happens to come right before I guess kind of the big races. This past weekend was big racing, and then with the Nationals, and after that, we have, hopefully there's still some bigger races that we'll be able to hit, but I'm just happy that we're still, we have the same guys as last year for the most part, and it's nice to be able to have more than 1 year to work with somebody, and they learn myself, and then I get to learn them, so it really helps, in the long terms to make a team to go for a championship.
Cory Eliason, our guest, drives the Rudine Racing number 26. We talked about the guys on the team. I want to talk about the guy fitting the bills for the team. Your team owner. Just his passion for I have never met Kevin. He's one of those guys that somewhere along the way I want to catch up with him and meet him. It's just he's been at a track. Of course, this year I haven't been anywhere, it seems like. But describe Kevin. Tell us about Kevin and his passion for sprint car racing that he has. Actually, last week he put up that big $26,000 to win race up in Sheboygan as well. So tell me about your team owner. What's it like to drive for Kevin?
It is. I mean, he's one of the greatest people you'll ever meet. There's nothing that he won't do for somebody to help them out. As far as, it doesn't matter if someone's struggling, if somebody needs help, if somebody, just you could be having a good day, everything's fine, and he'll just be there just to help you out even more. And he's one of the most giving people I think I've ever met. And as far as what he does for our sport, he does it for a lot. He has a midget team. They have they do that MSA or MASA racing also. It's that road course stuff. They have half-mile drags that him and his son do. But, I mean, everything is all revolved around racing, and he just loves to go racing, and he loves to help. So, I mean, he's put up a lot of money, especially this year, for more than just, he had his race on Thursday that it's on behalf of the Race Redeem Foundation, and that is his passion right there, is that foundation, to help spread awareness, and that's his goal. Is he has the race team, and he's able to put that foundation to help people who are struggling or with addiction or have had problems in the past, and helps get things going. Which is there's not a lot of people that are able to say that they can do that and still run a company and have a race team and continue through life the way he does. But he's paid a lot of money. He started, I think, when Terry was the first one to do the race in Park Jefferson after the whole lockdown. He showed up to that one, put up a bunch of money to help, boost it and get it going. And he just loves to see people competitive and want to go for it. And, he's definitely probably the oddest car owner that I've driven for, because the first words out of his mouth is, thank you to me for driving his car, and he appreciates all the hard work I'm doing before I can even get out and say, hey, thank you for, spending the money, letting me drive the car. So it is definitely different to deal with, but, at the same time, it makes it a lot easier, and it's fun to have him around.
No doubt. That is. Yeah, he put up that $26,000 to win on Thursday night, and most people would be like, okay, that's enough. Then he put a $1,000 bonus on, or bounty on Larson, ended up having to pay it to Larson then on Friday night, but his passion for it is absolutely amazing. So what's the game plan? Are you 360ing it this weekend? Obviously Front Row Challenge and then the one and only, is that the game plan, or are you going to go over to the Ironman 55, or you have other plans?
No, we're running the 360 Nationals because we're here in Knoxville, so we kind of make it a 2-week trip out of it, which is nice because it's always fun to come run Knoxville. But we'll do the 360 Nationals and then Front Row Challenge, of course, because I really like going to that racetrack, and then end it with the one and only.
There we go. Cory Eliason, we wish you the best on all of those endeavors and on throughout the balance of the season. We appreciate your time. Thanks for joining us here on Wing Nation.
Yep, thank you.
There we go. Cory Eliason on the Dryden Hotline. Great to hear from him. Really, really neat young racer. Young, talented. Yeah. I said that kind of, he said it reminds him of a California bull ring when you get into traffic and everything like that. So pretty neat stuff. That is for sure. Our friends at Aggressive Hydraulics, just like racing components, Aggressive Hydraulics purpose builds hydraulic cylinders to perform for customer-specific application. Design and manufacture of mobile-style single-stage cylinders as well as multi-stage telescopic cylinders. They use a no one-size-fits-all approach.
They have hydraulic solutions for virtually every industry that uses hydraulic cylinders. They proudly design and manufacture all cylinders in the United States. Check out the video of their story at aggressivehydraulics.com. And they're a proud sponsor of Ryan Newman at the Chili Bowl and all his short track racing.
We need to step away. When we come back, we're going to drop some big news on you, especially us, our friends north of the border. We got big news there. We got a bunch of other things happening as well. So, we got a whole lot more Wing Nation. Stay with us. More Wing Nation in just a moment.
Power isn't born. It's built over time. For over 65 years, Hercules Tires has been providing the muscle to move more drivers. Whatever the vehicle, whatever the terrain. And we back it with a powerful protection plan. So wherever the road or the trail takes you, we have the selection, value, and strength to get you there. Hercules Tires. Ride on our strength.
Pride. Passion. Performance. We are Team Dryden.
So glad you've joined us here on. There we go. Got to mash my button over here. I didn't want to. I took a drink of my water, and I didn't want the old gurgling and everything like that to go on everyone's headset. So we are back. It is Wing Nation. Yes, there we go. Ringing the bell. It is Wing Nation presented by Hercules Tires. Ride on our strength. Erin, Evernham, and Steve Post just having a ball. I'm telling you, talking with Danny Dietrich and with Cory Eliason. One of our other friends of the show is Plan B Sales, founded in 2010. They started as a Lionel and Chase Authentics apparel distributor. Now they are Auto World, Greenlight Collectibles, Sam Bass Artwork, Brand Art, and University of Racing Lines.
They have a huge inventory, and they have partnerships with Kyle Larson, Ricky Stenhouse Jr., Christopher Bell, and many other drivers. Use promo code MRN for free shipping on orders over $20.
There is a whole lot going on. Okay, we've got big news for Wing Nation. Big dealings north of the border. Let me get the right paper out so I get this right, okay? There is a television network in Canada called Rev TV Canada, Canada's own motorsports network, and we are excited to announce that starting this Thursday at 9 p.m., Wing Nation, presented by Sage Fruit, will be in Canada on Rev TV Canada. How about that one?
I know.
Man, all of our friends up there, eh?
Thomas Kennedy. And
Thomas Kennedy is stranded.
I know.
I put something on our Twitter yesterday. I said, good news for Canadian. We've got good news coming for Canadian friends. And someone said, you were able to spring Thomas Kennedy. No, we wish on that. I mean, Glenn Stiers
I know.
up there. Oh, my gosh. So welcome, Canada. It's going to be great. It really is. That starts Thursday night at 9 o'clock is where that's going to go on Rev TV Canada. So we love that. Also, a little in-house housekeeping here. Dylan Welch and Tyler Burnett, they co-host Rip the Fence.
Yep.
Well, Dylan and his lady friend Hannah and their dog Janet have piled up the family station wagon or whatever vehicle they drive, and they've headed to Pennsylvania. They are going, Dylan's going to run, we're Chad Boat Racing, the USAC Eastern Midget Week. Now, Grandview was scheduled for tonight. It's already been rained out thanks to that hurricane. But he is going to be at the Action Track in Kutztown. He is going to be on Thursday night at the newly redesigned Bridgeport Speedway. Path Valley on Friday night, party at the Path there, and Lane Co's Clyde Martin Memorial Speedway. So you can follow along on Flow Racing, and we're wishing Dylan Welch and the Chad Boat Racing team and Hannah and Janet.
Janet might be the best dog name ever.
Janet might be the best dog name ever. And Hannah Newhouse works with us at MRN, and Dylan Welch works with us at MRN. They had one of those little things between them all that sometimes happens between people who like each other. And now they've got Janet, the dog. And they are just, I'm telling you, this is way off. This is just one of those life philosophy things that I have. I love young people, and Dylan and Hannah are just two of my favorites. They are great, great kids. And boy, he can wheel a midget car.
Yeah, he can.
I've talked to some of those midget drivers. They're like, you keep him at MRN and only let him come and visit with us once a year. I mean, you get him behind a midget car all the time, and Dylan's going to be taking some W's away from everybody. So they're going to do that. Did you see Joey Saldana's ride for Knoxville?
Yes.
Oh, my God. Nemesis Designs, and I believe that is Mindy from Indy's brother.
It sure is.
Yes, okay. Yeah,
Mindy from Indy, getting a shout out.
Yeah,
She's
Mindy
turned
from
40,
Indy.
by the way.
What's that?
She just celebrated her 40th birthday, so we give her a
there's
little
no way
shout out.
Mindy from Indy is 40.
Yes.
No, she's not. She may be in calendar years, but in Mindy from Indy years, that's only 22.
Knoxville National years.
Knoxville National years. No, if it's Knoxville National
might
years,
be
she's
more than-
86. Yeah, no, I mean, no. Sorry about that, Mindy. But yeah.
She would agree.
And and her brother is Mindy from Indy's brother. And her dad, who, by the way, is in the Hall of Fame, well, he's Mindy from Indy's. That's what his plaque at the Hall of Fame says, Mindy from Indy's dad. No, it doesn't say Greg, but anyhow.
Okay.
But so Joey's going to run the 360 Nationals and the one and only Capitani Classic with Ed Neumeister. That is a sweet-looking race car. That really, really is. Got the email letter from James Allen, our buddy from NARC. We talked to him a couple weeks ago. They're hinting around of a possible race on September 5th. For the 410s out, the King of the West Series. So he said, as he said in the newsletter, the stars need to align. And that would be the whopping third race of the season. Keller ran on June 20th with Spencer Basin getting the win. The Caden Classic, Kyle Hurst picked that win up at Ocean Speedway on July 18th. So our fingers are crossed, our toes are crossed, everything wishing good luck to all of our California friends because, man, it's been a brutal year out there. And I would love to see at least one more King of the West Series race out there in California. So I hope the stars do align, that is for sure. You know, the auto industry is the backbone of America's economy, and Ford chooses to invest more in America because of its rich heritage here. The Blue Oval employs more U.S. hourly workers and assembles more vehicles in America than any other automaker by a wide margin.
So whether it's a Ford dealer in Kentucky or a technician in Indiana or an engineer in Michigan, we're proud to have them as part of the team. Ford, built for America.
All right, so here's where we're going from here, okay? Now, this is going to be fun. Our Thursday podcast, Wing Nation, presented by Dry Dean, by DRF Racing Oil, and by Hercules Tires. Dynamite. It's going to be a dynamite show because Mark Dobmeyer is going to join us. So we're going to find out how the recovery is going, and then I want to talk Upper Midwest Racing.
Oh, I thought you were going to say bounty hunting.
Bounty hunting, yes, exactly. The radiator shop with a back brace on.
Yep.
I mean, we've got a lot of ground we're going to cover.
The merch trailer getting a speeding ticket.
The merchant trailer getting a speeding ticket and a broken window. His kid, boy, well, we don't want to spoil all the thunder here. Join us on Thursday for that. And coming up on Saturday, Wing Nation presented by Sage Fruit. Okay, that's Erin Evernham is our guest with Ashley Stremme and I. Yes, indeed.
Truly.
Yes, indeed. So we're going to have a good time, a roundtable discussion, and that is on Rev TV Thursday night, Mav TV on Saturday morning. It is going to be spectacular. That is for sure. Hey, thank you so much for joining us here on Wing Nation, presented by Hercules Tires.
Wing Nation has been brought to you by Hercules Tires. Ride on our strength. Watch Wing Nation Saturday mornings on MAV TV. You can also find Wing Nation on wingnation.com or your favorite podcast provider. Wing Nation is a production of the Motor Racing Network. All rights reserved.